sex addiction programs, they encourage you to track and divide your time in three parts. So one track is healthy. So if you're doing healthy things, that means stuff like honest work, volunteering, study, YouTube streaming, exercise, prayer, meditation, and yeah, just want to definitely see the chat. Didn't get to see the chat last stream, and so that's one track. That's healthy. So I think these are like, I think that's inner circle. That's the vocabulary used. There's inner circle, mid circle, and outer circle. So inner circle is the healthy behavior, and so then middle circle is not healthy, but you're not directly engaged in your addiction either. So middle circle, if you're a sex addict, porn addict, could be something like watching Netflix, hanging out at a bar, just watching TV, going on dating apps, like depending on the precise nature and level and intensity of your addiction. In middle circle behavior, while you're not actively engaged in your addiction, you're not doing the healthiest things, and you're opening yourself up to possibly transitioning into, I believe is called the outer circle, and that's when you're engaging in destructive behavior, or right on the verge of engaging in destructive behavior. So one thing that a lot of 12-step programs have in common is that they encourage you to track, to keep close tabs on what you're doing, what you're eating. For example, there are at least 8 different 12-step programs with regard to food, and I'm sure all of them have you track everything you eat, and I'm sure they all have you plan everything you eat, and many or not most of them would encourage you to set regular meal times, to plan what you're going to eat, to only eat certain foods at certain times and certain combinations, and kind of reduce your choices. Like 12-step programs, well, I think I made a mistake here. I should have taken Olympic. So 12-step programs generally work by reducing your choices. When you have a lot of choices, it's a lot easier to make the wrong choice. And by encouraging you to track, they encourage you to be more present and to think about and plan healthier decisions. And so in Debtors Anonymous, they talk about the disease as a disease of vagueness. And so to overcome vagueness, one of the tools is you write down everything you earn, you write down everything you spend. That's tracking your spending and your earning. And then you also, please let me in, then you also start planning your spending. You get a spending plan so that you avoid debt and you stay solvent, and you work towards your vision. So one of the first money-related 12-step programs meetings that I ever went to was a vision meeting, where right near the beginning of the meeting, everyone had 30 seconds to describe their vision. So you reach for the stars, but you keep your feet on the ground by writing down everything you're spending, everything you're earning, tracking it and planning it. So you're not just making spontaneous decisions. Because if you're an addict, chances are that in quite a few areas of your life, you don't tend to make great decisions. Like I don't think I've ever known anyone in a sex addiction program who is only a sex addict. And they say about AA meetings that they're a sex addiction meeting. It's a room full of sex addicts who no longer drink. Yeah, spontaneity will draw one out of his lane. Glib Medley, the master YouTube commentator, the greatest YouTube commentator of his generation. That's Mr. Glib. So the Debt is Anonymous approach is it's a disease of vagueness. So to overcome that, we need to get clear by writing down our spending and earning and tracking it and planning it. So the approach in Under Owners Anonymous is that it is a disease of hiding and biting. And so the focus of Under Owners Anonymous is on how you spend your time. So the focus of Debtors Anonymous is how you spend your money, and the focus of Under Owners Anonymous is how you spend your time. So in Debtors Anonymous, they encourage you to come up with a spending plan that matches your earning and doesn't have your debt. And in Under Owners Anonymous, they have you track your time. So it can just begin with very simply notice what time it is. So right now it's about 2:05 p.m. and I'd write down in my notebook 2:05 p.m. driving, and then 5 p.m. tonight streaming with Kevin Michael Grace about some form of right-wing politics and culture. 6 a.m. I'm what am I doing? I'm listening to favorite 12-step phone meeting. 8 p.m. I'll be chilling, watching Netflix, or possibly going to a 12-step meeting. So you just start tracking your time. First, you just start writing in a journal what you notice at a particular time. And then there are apps, so you can divide your time into 4 or 5 categories: work, earning, spiritual, fun, categories like that. And so there are lots of apps for tracking your time, and you can see how much time you're spending sleeping, how much time a week you're spending spending in income producing activities. And that, whoa, it really hits you. It's intensely sobering, as is just writing down everything you spend. Because I found when I started writing down everything I spent, a lot of times that I was thinking about spending money, I didn't spend money simply because I didn't want to write it down. So there's the old saying, God is in the details. And writing down everything you earn and everything you spend, it's a holy act. You feel that this is meeting God. And I also felt that tracking your time and planning your time. So you go from just noticing what you're doing at a certain time to comprehensively tracking your time over the course of the week to then planning your time so that you can start working towards your vision. And when you work towards your vision, you get clear what your vision is, then you set benchmarks, and as you make progress and hit those benchmarks, you reward achievement. And here's a side effect of tracking and planning your time. One of the famous statements in the AA Big Book is that we relax and take it easy. If you're always running behind, you're not going to be relaxing and taking it easy. You're going to be harried and nervous and under the gun, and you're going to have a lot of unnecessary muscular tension, and you're not going to operate efficiently and easily. So one of the cures for road rage is you just leave a few minutes earlier. So I struggle with road rage, got to admit it. I start yelling at other drivers and wanting to like gesticulate and yeah, It's not very nice, and swearing, and not behaving as one would expect a Ben Torah, a son of Torah, as a good convert to Orthodox Judaism. So I found this neat little trick to overcome road rage, and that is just leave early. Okay, if you have a 20-minute drive, set aside 25-30 minutes. You have an hour drive, set aside 80 minutes. And when I do that, it dramatically reduces my tendencies towards road rage, because I've got those few extra minutes. If I make a wrong turn, if the traffic is bad, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I can talk to my peeps on my live stream. I can listen to a 12-step phone meeting. I've got books on my phone. I've got hundreds of terrific lectures. If I'm not in a rush, I can just enjoy my drive. Other people's behavior doesn't affect me nearly as much. But if I'm under the gun, if I'm rushing, if I'm running late to something important to me, then I'm going to get stressed, and I'm much more likely to get angry with other people. So too, if I've got a prudent reserve in the bank, I'm not going to freak out if there's an unexpected car or computer repair, or I need some unexpected dental work or whatever. If I've got just a few thousand extra dollars in the bank, I'm not going to freak out. Also, if I'm not debting, then each day and each week goes by, it's like, yeah, if I'm not debting, in all likelihood I'm saving. If I'm saving, I'm building my prudent reserve, I'm feeling good. And so it just has a tremendous just calming effect, a happiness effect. I'm ahead of the game. Feels good, man. Feels good. So I always like to leave myself plenty of time to arrive at my destination. I have largely created a life where I've never had a daily commute longer than about 20 minutes. Rarely. I've rarely had a daily commute longer than 20 minutes one way, because I know long commute makes me unhappy, because the longer I'm commuting, the more vulnerable I am to other people, and the less control you have over your own life, then that tends to make people unhappy. Of course, if you're some great ascendant master, spiritual teacher, being vulnerable to other people perhaps won't affect you so much. But for ordinary people like me, the more you are vulnerable to other people, the more unhappy you're going to get. So I try to design my schedule so I'm hitting the roads before 6 a.m. and then I'm hitting the roads at 2 p.m. Or if I'm not hitting the roads between... thought I was about to see an accident up ahead there. If I'm not hitting the roads between 2 and 3 p.m., then I'd often prefer to wait till 8 p.m. So I miss rush hour traffic. Just have a nice, serene drive home. There aren't as many angry, desperate, upset people on the road, and my commute can just stream along without pressure and intensity. So pressure, anxiety, those things aren't really good for peace of mind. So I try to design my life to maximize my peace of mind. And streaming, I actually works quite well with my happiness level. I know a lot of people it takes a toll, and it is exhausting, but it's not putting me emotionally through the ringer, because I stay out of feuds. I'll get passionate about a topic, but there's never been a time in the last 3 years or so of my live streaming where I've had to take a live stream down because I was so ashamed of something I said. It just doesn't happen, so I'm not getting triggered into saying things, doing things that I regret. Therefore, it's a healthy activity for me. I think that's called inner circle, like where you're doing things that are healthy. That if, on the other hand, streaming was getting me upset, getting me anxious, angry, if I was losing friends, making myself the target for all sorts of needless abuse, then that would just lead me back into my old addictions, like porn addiction or anger addiction, or just, desperately needing to distract myself from my emotional state, from my unhappiness. And that's not been the result of my live streaming. So I try to stream with serenity, and I bring on people who don't make me unhappy. And if there are commentators in the chat room who are annoying me, I just ban them. And if they're persistent and they just change their IP address and just keep coming and coming and coming, then I make peace. That's something I can't control. That's the old serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So someone annoys me as a commentator, and I can't ban them because they just keep changing their IP address, then that's something I can't change. So I need to make peace with that. And when I just get clear, okay, this is something I can't change, then good things happen. Clarity is good. Bye-bye.